this point. Go to bed.
Yeah, it's really difficult, I think, with the verticality of that map. The two tiers to both of those sites, A and B.
And it's so open, considering the fact that it is 2 tiers. It's not 2 separate. It's not a heaven and a hell. If we think about Haven A, like that is, it's pretty closed off. There's one entrance. There's one entrance from the stairs, and then there's one entrance that you shoot from that is like the main heaven part.
Right.
But if you're on the A point on Icebox, something like that, that is so spread out. There's so many openings in that box that you're standing in. There's so many different angles you can get shot from, and those vertical zip lines add something completely different.
Well, let's think about, too, the approaches from the defending side on both maps, like Bind and Haven, where on both of these maps, the defenders, if they're retaking on their side of the map, they're going through narrow corridors to get anywhere. To approach any site from anywhere, it's narrow corridors. So you can kind of imagine Icebox as being a change of philosophy almost into how they approach the defense's options to retake, because like you said, it's really wide open. If you especially think of A site, how much room there is along that plant site, but we are not on Icebox, we're on Avon, and already the action gets started. Vons gets the action started for Death, and Shady further presses the issue. Big Frames already stumbling here on the defending side, getting absolutely dismantled on B site, leaving 1 member remaining up against 5 for Death Esports in a big statement here, leaving Cryocells as the lone member, but Cryocells, former MVP Cryocells, gets the first kill here for Big Frames in round 1.
Lucky leader.
An amazing name.
That's a good name. Cryocells definitely has his work cut out here for him. 1v3, really low health on that Phoenix. Jet moving around on the side. Shots coming out so low on this Jet now. Cryocells in a difficult spot, making as much work happen as he can. I don't think he'll get this defused, but he's trying to be a nuisance, trying to take some members down. Shane will take him out.
Cryocells looked really deadly there, but unfortunately he had literally no backup. Big Frames unable to stop Death Esports in any fashion there with that really aggressive push onto B through mid from Death Esports to get this match started off in a big way. Taking a quick look at the pickups here in terms of agents, Big Frames still opting for the Killjoy. Interestingly enough, on Haven here, see how that pays off for them. Death Esports with a bit more of a traditional approach, swapping in the Phoenix here.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see Inox on that Phoenix. Typically, we see him opting for that breach, and he's so talented on that agent. But if you follow him on Twitter, you've been seeing a lot of clips come out from him of that Killjoy, one with a particularly bad pun on it. So.
Still give Inox a follow. IN0X on Twitter. Sogo, though, takes him down. We cast or cursed him, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
Sogo gets the opening kill here in round 2, making it that much harder for Big Frames here. But Big Frames are on the force buy here. They've got to make this one work. Koala Noob, light armor, Stinger in hand, makes it work. Gets the kill onto Shady as Big Frames get their way onto site. Big kills for Big Frames.
Yeah, Big Frames definitely can go ahead and defuse this now. I think they might just force as soon as they get those darts out of the Sova. They know the Sova's left. Shane gets that kill onto Qualinu, but a big force coming out from Cryocells. That'll be a round going over to Big Frames.
Wait, will it? There's no defuse.
No,
the diffuser died.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize they killed the diffuser.
Depth Esports.
Wow.
They got the kills that count. Depth Esports stopped the force buy from Big Frames. I mean, but wow, what a bloody second round.
Yeah, and in terms of econ, everyone going to be low here. We might see some rifles come out on the side. Actually, no, Depth going to go back towards those SMGs. Going to opt for the full shields instead.
Really, really impressive stuff here from Depth Esports, but Cryocells, that hasn't slowed him down one bit. 5-1-1 to start off first game, 2 rounds in. See if that momentum continues here as Big Frames now really forced to keep the buy light here. Classic in the hand of SVL.
Yeah, that was a really nice force-in push coming through from Cryocells. You saw him crouch in there too. No way they knew he was coming in through that that smoke.
And Depth Esports wasting no time, pressing their advantage here onto C-Site. Here comes the push from Garage. Inox, though, comes in through the backside, takes down Lucky Leader, but that leaves Big Frames left in a 3v4 as Spike goes down. They are all grouped together here towards Garage. See if Depth can hold them off. They don't have full rifles available to them.
I think most of them actually opted towards pistols, so if they do have anything, it's because they got it off the ground. I think this might just be a give here for Big Frames. Koala Noob moving in on the backside. Gets a little bit of intel, but I don't think they have time at this point.
Yeah, Big Frames, I think, just going to look for some exit frags here, as the last 2 rounds had been so bloody that they hadn't been able to carry any money through off of the, especially off the force buy in the second round. So just going to try to keep these SMGs here, but still may all come to a head here towards the defender side. Spawn, Koala Noob, though.
Oh, my
SVL as well picks up the double kill. Big Frames at least find some consolation kills to close out that 3rd round, but no round for them quite yet.
Yeah, we finally see some rifles in hand for both teams here, so this is going to be our first real round, considering both teams did force for that round 2 buy, so Econ a little bit delayed come through on that round 3, but
yeah, SVL in an awkward position there.
Yeah, Vons and Cryocells both have those ultimates ready, so here, like, as soon as I say it, let's go. Starting off from Cryocells here. Won't find any damage, but really aggressive push-up for SVL.
SVL still making the most of that weak Stinger, the weakest link in his team's chain there, but will still be able to back away with his life with the kill. Heals himself back up.
And that feels even better, because that one he picked up after he killed some people at the end of the last round, too. So it was killed by their own blade coming through for Depth Esports.
That's definitely the adjustment Valorant needs, is like it needs to identify exactly whose Phantom that is, you know.
Give a special notification if you're killed with your team's gun.
Absolutely.
I think you just get, I think there's occasionally like a daily quest for it where it's like kill someone with an enemy's gun.
Let's see. Big Frames can continue to use their enemies' tools against them here as Depth execute onto A site, though, but Big Frames have a lot of information, and they've got a lot of kills. Cryocell pops off for the double kill. Koala Noob wraps it up neatly. Big Frames get their first round in a big way.
Koala Noob didn't even take shield damage there. My goodness, they've got to be feeling good off the back of that one. Cryocells gets those 2 big kills. I was just about to say how nice of a blind that was coming out from Sogo, but he doesn't check hell, and he loses 2 teammates for it. Wow, big play coming through there on the side of Big Frames.
Really impressive stuff, especially from Cryocells. Continues to pad his stat line here. Ultimate coming out from the side of Depth Esports. This is a bit of a weaker buy for them. Already Shady, yeah, it takes a lot of damage there, but still presses forward undeterred, and Shane gets the action started onto Cryocells with that classic, Nerf finds some revenge there onto Shady, but here comes the Blade Storm of Lucky Leader!
Oh my god!
And he gets absolutely read by Nerf. He heard the footsteps moving forward. SVL, meanwhile, on the opposite side, finds one before getting taken down. The remaining 2 members of Depth Esports will be planting here onto A site, but the retake wastes no time pushing forward, and Vons gets wrecked by the Nano Swarm grenade, leaving just Sogo to clutch it out for the 3K.
Massive Sheriff play coming out there. You actually saw Sogo toss his rifle to the Omen at the beginning of that. So he opted away from the rifle, and it pays off.
I don't think he even believed that he clutched that out. He kind of just looked at the ground like, wait, did I just win that round?
He's like, wait, I'm alive?
On next week's episode of I Shouldn't Be Alive, Sogo clutches victory from the jaws of defeat. Big Frames looked all but set to get their second round on the board, get themselves within 1 of Depth Esports. Meanwhile, Big Frames are on the back foot here as Lucky Leader gets that spray through onto Inox, and Koala Noob gets his Blade Storm wasted away.
Sogo popping off so far, but so many shots coming through. That'll be an easy kill there on a nerfed. Big Frames definitely going to be off their guard this round here.
I mean, a massive amount of momentum and just positive, confidence boosting for Depth Esports off the back of that massive clutch from Sogo. Makes it that much harder for Big Frames to get themselves back into this game. SVL goes on to the backside. Cryocells finds one, but that's all he'll get. Depth Esports extend their lead to 4.
Yeah, they're looking very clean here. And looks like it might be another econ round coming through here for Big Frames. They are really caught off guard here by Depth Esports. Shane and Shady, another 2 VSS veterans here, definitely showing up and giving Big Frames a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, Depth Esports, they look almost impossible to deal with here on the attack. A perfect amount of tempered aggression coming out from Depth Esports makes it really hard for Big Frames to adjust their pace, but SVL had a great opportunity, but it will be Nerfed who gets the trade as Depth Esports pushed forward for a moment, but now have realigned their push over towards Garage, over towards Seaside. Sogo takes advantage of the rotate there from Big Frames, leaving just Nerfed here in a 1v3 as Spike goes down for Depth Esports.
Yeah, Nerfed in a really hard position here. Oh, and just immediately gets taken out by Shady. Omen v Omen. Omen wins.
Omen always wins. You'll find that out here as Depth Esports starting to run it up over Big Frames here in the first half. Already got themselves 6 rounds and an op over towards Koala Noob, hopefully, as well as 4 ults for the side of Big Frames. Hopefully get themselves back into this game. It looked like a positive shift in momentum for them in the 4th round when they were able to get that big all-kill round over Depth Esports, but fortunately for the Big Frames, Depth Esports, off the back of that clutch from Sogo, started to run away with this one.
Yeah, and I think this is the part of the game where you really have to start to get worried if you are Big Frames. Being at 6-1, you've got to start worrying about that half score. Ooh, a lot of damage coming in onto Shady. Gonna be in a difficult position as this push comes through. Oh, so close for that second nano grenade.
Fancy footwork from Shady keeps him alive, but just by the slimmest of margins. Here comes the lockdown from Inox. Oh, but it's actually taken out by the Hunter's Fury of Depth Esports. But the retake pushing through regardless. Now Big Frames established onto site. 3 members of Depth Esports there to stop them. Vons gets the first kill onto Nerfed, and Shane follows up. Vons with a massive double kill leaves Lucky Leader in a 1v1. Koala Noob, had the op in the back pocket, forced to resort towards the classic, can't land the right kill on the 28, or the right click rather, on the 28 HP Lucky Leader. And Depth Esports once again gets so close, and
Yeah,
Depth Esports stay alive.
That one feels really bad if you're Big Frames. And like you said, 28 HP, that is a right click. If that right click hit onto Lucky Leader was dead. That round goes over to Big Frames. And that was such a huge force buy coming through for Big Frames that I'm starting to get worried about them. They have some rifles. I saw a Bulldog. I saw 2 half shields.
Lucky
Love
Leader.
that angle.
Really dangerous stuff here from Depth Esports. You can tell they are feeling themselves. They are playing with high confidence here. Nerfed, though. That's a confidence booster. Big double kill for Nerfed and Garage. Can Koala Noob follow up? Yes. Koala Noob with a big kill onto Lucky Leader. And Big Frames can't be counted out quite yet. 5v2 now for the defenders. A little over a minute remaining as Vons forced to back away there. Cryocells, though, pushes forward into the clutches of Shane, and Depth Esports now seizing that opportunity onto A site. It's Big Frames here with a 4v2, but still in a retake position.
Yeah, feel really. Oh my goodness, that Sky Molly was insane.
Excellently played from SPL. Can he find the kill? No, Vons makes him pay, but Nerf follows up with the revenge for the triple kill, and Big Frames double up their rounds on the half. Starting to look dire for them, but this could be the foothold they need to bring it back here, top 32.
Yeah, at this point for Big Frames, you pretty much need to win out the half, or you're going to be in a really, really hard position moving into the second half.
I mean, dangerously enough, Depth Esports risk going into double digits if they run away with this one. So Depth Esports still in a good position despite dropping the previous round here. Cryocells, though, not in a good position. Probably going to rely on one of his teammates here for the buy, and who will be gifted that Phantom. This is the bank line for Big Frames, looking rather grim despite the previous round. See if they can seize this advantage as they rush forward onto these A corridors here. Inox sets up that really aggressive turret, but it may be all for naught as Depth Esports, off the back of this run it back from Sogo, make their way onto B site, and Big Frames going to have to peel them away if they want to get another round going here.
Yeah, but a big collapse now coming through for Big Frames. They know where Lucky Leader is, and he will fall to SPL there. 4v5 now in the favor of Big Frames. We've seen in the past, oh my god, Sogo gets a massive double kill.
Sogo rather shows he's got the clutch factor. Vons with a massive Hunter's Fury rips apart Big Frames. What should have been a guaranteed round. Big Frames had the edge there, but Sogo pops off for a massive triple kill, defending the spike plant there. Depth Esports once again had the perfect balance of not hesitating to push forward and then playing a really, really difficult to defeat strategic defense of the spike.
Yeah, I think that is kind of similar. I was going to mention it before we got into pistol round, but I think that's kind of similar to what we're going to see on Icebox, the similar plant style as Haven B side. You plant and you just get off. You're going to leave the spike as open as you can. You want as much vision of the spike as you can, but you're going to plant and you're going to hide.
It's paying off for Depth Esports here as now they turn their attention onto B site, C site rather, wasting no time. Lucky Leader gets the spray down onto Inox. Can Nerf find the revenge? Can't, but Koala Noob finds one with the Blade Storm before going down, leading to this spike plant from Depth Esports. SVL just with a classic, a little bit of utility marked by the recon bolt. Finds the headshot onto Sogo as Cryocells finds one onto Vons, but Cryocells with the last little scrape of HP left in the tank.
Oh no.
And Sogo steals it away. Depth Esports, we said risked running onto double digits here in the first half. They are one round away from doing so, as we are one round away from the second.
Yeah, and I think it's really coming down to members of Big Frames just getting picked off at the start of the round. And if we look at like the deaths on Depth Esports, that their two top fraggers have only died 6 times. Shady's only died 6 times. There's a minimum of 8 deaths on everyone on Big Frames.
Depth Esports with big frag potential here. Big Frames unable to deal with it thus
so
far.
Lucky.
Yeah, SVL playing a dangerous game there over towards A short. Gets away with it this time.
Yeah, that's it's a very rare rare thing to survive, and when you when you survive it, you feel very lucky.
Hashtag blessed. So Big Frames making the adjustment here to hold down the B side a bit stronger. We'll see if it's enough to hold Depth Esports off of it this time, as once again Sogo surges forward with the run it back, this time taken out by Koala Noob, and now Depth Esports have a better idea of the defense coming out from Big Frames, and they don't press the issue quite yet. They may turn their attention over to Garage, though that is an equally defended territory here for Big Frames. Got the intel over towards C site, and here comes the push, and the defense stands strong.
And some shot darts coming in onto Vons. A lot of damage in onto Inox, but buys himself some time with that nano
30
grenade.
seconds left.
Oh, Shane caught out there by the nanoswarm grenade. Nerfed finishes the job. Now just 2 attackers remaining as time works against them. Nerf picks them apart before going down to Vons, but it's just Vons remaining. Hunter's Fury ringing out to end the half. Cryocells snipes down the rival Sova, keeps Death Esports.
He's trying to kill Enoch.
Keeps Death Esports off of double digits. And a little bit of team building exercises for Big Frames to close out the half.
It's so good at the end of the half when you just try to start killing your teammates with your abilities.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good, you know, it's just good old-fashioned fun, you know, just horsing around.
Spike Rush is a good one for that too. Yeah, it's a good time.
So, Big Frames, they've looked heroic in the rounds they've been able to pick up, but they haven't been able to pick up that many. Depth Esports risk running away with this one as we start off the second half. This pistol round, very crucial for Big Frames. See how they approach it. 3 ghosts in hand, 2 classics. They turn almost all of their attention over towards C site. 2 members of Depth Esports there to greet them. Shane with this angle is smoked off, trying to find some damage, but Big Frames surge forward. Koalanu dashes forward, trying to find the kill, but he gives the intel over to Cryocells, which equals a kill onto Shane. Inox hunts down Sogo, and Big Frames off to a great start here in a round that is very much do or die for them.
That shock dart was massive. There's pretty much no armor available on the side of Big Frames, so those shock darts do even more damage right now. Vons will fall. 2v5 now. Big Frames looking very good for this pistol round. Here we go.
Wow.
Flawless pistol round going over. That shock dart does a ton of damage to Cryocells, but it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter. Big Frames. That was a very important round for them, but they are not out of the danger quite yet. Got to continue to mix it up here on Depth Esports. See, they do spring for some rather expensive options here as Nerfed and SVL will still hold on to the Ghosts, but a Bulldog going over for Inox. Try and all but secure this round here for Big Frames.
It's a level 2 Bulldog full shield. That is a Chad buy coming through for Inox.
See if he can make that investment pay off here. Lucky leader, though. Having a bit of a duel.
Definitely a big gamble, and here we go. Inox starting us off. First blood coming through with that Bulldog. Didn't even take shield damage.
Flawless execution from Inox. Big Frames.
Vons missed out on all of the available intel there. There was so many people moving through there, and he just was jiggle peeking and missed all of it.
Millimetrically close was Vons to revealing the Big Frames' big plan. But Lucky Leader has the drop here. Can't win out the trade.
Inox.
The Bulldog once again paying off. Vons forced away by the Molotov. See if Death Esports can clutch a thrifty out here, but it is looking rough.
In an act of defiance to our good boy, crap.
Vons?
No, I Carry, who is our good boy I Carry, the Bulldog hater. Inox in defiance of I Carry, popping off with this Bulldog.
I love the Bulldog. I think it's a great gun.
Me too.
But yeah,
it's Carry.
Carry
does hate the Bulldog.
He's down on the Bulldog. Shout out to I Carry, the greatest.
We love I Carry here.
Absolute legend. But wrong about the Bulldog is I Carry, and Inox making a public display of that fact. Finds 2 kills there. Finally get himself rolling here in this match as Big Frames. They are getting themselves ever closer, working away at the deficit that Depth Esports built up on them in the first half. Depth Esports still within a grasp of closing out this match here in this best of 1. Sogo, so far pushed forward, gets the flick onto Inox, escapes with 35 HP. The Bulldog loses out here in the 15th, but Koalanu, gets spotted out at the exact perfect time for Depth Esports. He has to back away. Big Frames, though, they want this ace-tight nonetheless. Here it comes Nerfed, and again, spotted out by a tracking dart. Depth Esports winning the intel game here. Koalanu pays the price. SVL pays the price. Cryocells cleans up the kill, but it's not enough as Sogo wraps up the 3K and Depth Esports onto double digits.
Yeah, Sogo absolutely popping off on this Phoenix. 16, 9, and 6. He knows what he's doing on this Phoenix and absolutely just showing off.
Definitely MVP material for Sogo there.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen so many clutch triples come through for him. We've seen so many situations where he didn't, probably shouldn't have lived through it, and it manages to make those clutch plays happen. So
arguably the most important round of the game was that 5th round where Big Frames knocked Depth Esports Economy down. They were back to just Sheriffs and a couple of pistols, and Sogo clutched it out in the 1v3 with that Sheriff, and completely stole away the momentum that Big Frames had the chance to build. So Big Frames have to get themselves back into it. They hope this lockdown from Inox will turn the tide. Couple of members of Depth Esports lurking around its borders, but I don't think they'll get caught out. And that's just meant to steal the attention of Depth Esports away from the C site, but Shady's got his eyes on it. Shady has his eyes onto Koala Noob, and Vons follows up. The plan has not played out for Big Frames here. They fall on the C site, they fall on the backside. Now just SVL remaining in a 1v5. Depth Esports flawlessly move themselves onto 11 rounds.
Yeah, Depth Esports looking so good. Not familiar with Sogo before this match, but definitely not going to be a name that you forget after this one.
Gonna go ahead and look up Sogo on Twitter. You are very good at Valorant. At Sogo.
At Sogo.
I don't know if it's probably not.
It sounds like a restaurant.
Ooh, that would be a cool restaurant. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely sounds like a restaurant name.
Sogo, if you're an entrepreneur, hit us up. And also, Sogo, an MVP here in this match thus far, and continues to pad the stats. Finds a massive double kill mid.
I'm going to go for a walk, Dealy. I'm taking my headphones off.
I can no longer deal with Sogo. Too good at the game. Big Frames unable to mount a response to this absolutely stellar performance. Try to force their way onto B site, and Inox gets a big snipe onto Vons, but Shady is in perfect position here, but it's gonna be Lucky Leader who helps close out this round, but Cryocell's still alive, takes down Shane. Big Frames are in a 2v2 despite the big kills, but now a 1v2. Inox gets caught in the back there, leaving just Cryocell's defend the spike.
Oh, and he's going the other way. They're actually coming from C-Long where he could line his ult up perfectly, but he's going into Garage. Oh, he has full utility.
Has an ultimate available as well. Oh, but he's just gonna walk on forward. Gets the spray onto the diffuser, but can't get the flick onto Shady. Shady will secure the round for Depth Esports, and Depth Esports get themselves onto match point. An absolutely stellar showing from them.
Yeah, definitely looking like an upset here for Depth Esports. Big Frames haven't been able to come online. They've been getting picked off at the beginning of the round. And even more costly, sometimes Sogo's been finding 2 members or even 3 members to start a round off. And when you start around 10, 15 seconds in a 3v5 or a 2v5, you lose that round.
It doesn't bode well for success. Sogo putting the stomp down onto Big Frames here, and they've got to make it 7 in a row if they want a chance at top 16, but Lucky Leader is in the way, finds the snipe down onto Koala Noob as Sogo rushes forward with the run it back, will get spotted out by Nerfed. That is still big intel for Depth Esports. Nerf has to be so cautious moving forward here.
Yeah, everyone has to be really cautious. They know there's that operator on the map. Koala Noob fell to it, and it's match point. Things are looking very good here for Depth Esports.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Run it back, getting popped here by SVL, moving in onto the A plant, but Sogo about to destroy Big Frames here on the B side. Oh my goodness. Wow, SVL able to get one with his ultimate on the A side, taking down that operator, taking down Lucky Leader.
Sogo so close to perfection there with the timing, but Shane has the perfection with the timing, gets a big double kill over on the A site. Oh, but NX and Cryocells respond with 2 kills of their own. Keeps this level
30
footed
seconds
for
left.
now. Shane almost gets the angle there onto NX, but has to back away. Sogo here pushing through on the backside of Big Frames. Could pull off a flank there if they're not careful. Here he comes through that corridor, catches Cryocells looking up at heaven. Inox now the lone frame remaining, gets sprayed down. Depth Esports pull off a massive victory to start off top 32, 13-5 over Big Frames.
Yeah, a really clean, decisive win coming through for Depth Esports. Definitely going to have Sogo as our MVP.
Yeah,
He was
no doubt about
popping
it.
Off in that game.
Crazy stuff.
Looking very good, and I'm just really excited to look at the rest of this scoreboard.
Yeah, it was really impressive stuff from Sogo. As we said, single-handedly won what may have been the turning, or maybe not the turning point, but the nail in the coffin for Big Frames there early on was that 5th round.
I think it was the nail for their economy.
Yeah.
There was definitely a big force buy coming out. They had a 3v1 advantage, and they lost it to a sheriff.
A singular sheriff
They
there
got
of
deagled,
Sogo.
Dilly. They got deagled.
Happens to the best of us, as Big Frames show us, but it is, of course, guaranteed going to be Sogo as the match MVP to start us off here in top 32, 21, 10, and 6, combat score of 315 coming out from Sogo. And
This is an imposter Sogo because there's no smiley face. So
oh, yeah.
That's an imposter Sogo. This is the real Sogo.
As
Sogo,
made evident.
Sogo sus. Report Sogo. No, I'm just kidding.
So, yeah, I mean, Big Frames, too. I mean, if you look at the leaderboard, too, Nerfed and Cryocells, you can't say they had a bad game, especially compared to the rest of the leaderboard, but Sogo
Even
just
Shady.
ran away with this one.
Yeah. So I mentioned how just the members of Big Frames were getting picked off over and over. Shady didn't necessarily have a big game in terms of his kill impact, was 7, 10, and 7.
Right.
But the massive part of that score is the fact that he only had 10 deaths. That's fewer deaths than anyone on the side of Big Frames had. And that tells a huge story about that game. But like you said, Dilly, big upset coming through for Depth Esports. Big Frames not making it out of the top 32 this week. But we are going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, and we're going to get moved into the top 16. So don't go anywhere.